Hey, and what is up guys, and welcome to another aquascaping video. Today we're talking about this custom aquarium here behind me. It's now running for months or two. The fish have been added. We're gonna have a close look on how I scaped it and on everything, how it has evolved. But first, we have to go back in time to when I started rescaping this aquarium. Fun fact, I scaped this aquarium 1 year ago, and I don't know what happened, but you better check out the time jump and figure out for yourself. So guys, the problem with this aquarium here is it is located in a glass house, which is outdoors, which is not good in the summer. It gets too hot. Not good in the winter. It gets too cold. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. Don't do that. Luckily, I've been able to convince the customer to take it indoors. Now, the first part is to take the aquarium down, basically remove everything. We're going to reuse the hardscape, gonna clean it, and then just, get it empty. Let's do this. The tank has been empty for a while, and what you see here are aquatic cockroaches, aka amana shrimp. They can survive this, so we will definitely catch these guys. It looks so funny. The Anubias leaves have turned into lace plants. I don't know how this happened, but that looks super cool. That used to be Anubias battery leaf. What we have over here are pond baskets or pond plants basically, and I used some filter bags inside to store some soil. Used to have tall plants in the back. If you don't trust me, you can see here, it's still tiny, little bits of green remaining. Everything else pretty much, except for the one Java fern, died off. This, guys, is what you sometimes have to deal with when you do aquascaping for living. Full bucket of mini landscape, aka serious stone. Has a little bit of a greenish patina. We're going to give it a rinse with hydrogen peroxide. And over here, all the wood from the Tropica decor. You know, used to have a lot of microserum and Anubias attached to it. Just look at the lace structure of the Anubias battery leaves. Come on, focus. Camera, focus. There you go. And over here we have the juniper wood. That's pretty cool. Going to give it a good scrub, clean it. Again, spray it with hydrogen peroxide. And then it's good to be used again. Okay guys, you have seen what happened to this aquarium, and while dismantling the tank, I noticed the bottom was cracked and the tank was leaking. I've been able to convince the customer to relocate the aquarium here into his house, where it has shelter from the environment, so it doesn't get too warm in the summer, it doesn't get too cold in winter. So the aquarium has been fixed, it's been relocated, it has been leveled. You know, we now have a sheet of plywood here in between the aquarium and this building bricks, whatever. So the crack has been sealed with a slab of glass and a bunch of silicone. I allowed the tank to cure for long enough to be sure that nothing is gonna happen. Now sitting on the plywood, no more cracks in the future, fingers crossed. I started rescaping the aquarium. Luckily, my friend Florian has joined me. By the way, buddy, congratulations on your this year's IPLC rank. Fortunate enough to assist him on taking the picture, and sometimes Florian assists me in scaping my custom aquariums or my own tanks. And this is, I don't know, if you can, grab your aquascaping buddy and do things together. It's so much more fun. We started by adding a layer of soil at the bottom of the aquarium to provide plants with nutrients. I wanted this to be a very simple layout, so we topped everything with aquarium gravel. So it's, you know, like a classic, you know, where you have, you know, your dirt and then your sand or cosmetic sand on top, but we used soil, which, how to say, just provides better control over things. And if it ever gets, you know, to the surface, it's just unsightly, but it's not going to trigger any algae growth or anything. So the good stuff at the back, at the bottom, topped with a layer of aquarium gravel. And then we started scaping the whole thing using the juniper wood. I made the wood composition by arranging the wood in an island style, mainly, you know, like the big pieces started here, extended on the other side, and then added smaller branches in between until I was happy with the structure. And actually the viewing angle, like from the camera here, is like the main viewing angle. So I kind of made it to be viewed from a slight angle. Like, by no means this is a contest tank composition, just a simple nature style aquarium. Next up, we secured the wood with rocks. Reused, again, the materials from the previous layout, mini landscape rock. And I think I previously said I used hydrogen peroxide. That was false. I used bleach. Afterwards, you know, they're like brand new. They get like even more detail, especially with mini landscape, because, you know, the bleach, it kind of takes away the calcium in the stone. Washed the rocks, used a little bit of the chlorinator, and then allowed them to dry before using them in an aquarium. What happens if chlorine or bleach dries out completely? It turns into NaCl, which is like the salt that you can use for cooking in the kitchen. You know, like with oxygen and air, there's like a reaction happening. So in the end, you end up with salt, which is harmless. So you can wash it off and you're good to go, super safe. Reused the rocks here. Did this in a way that positioned some rocks on top of the wood and then created, you know, like a nice circle around the wood, mainly to create some connections there between the wood and the rocks so the wood doesn't float up, but also just put purposely some rocks on top of the wood here. Just created a nice island composition structure. Super easy, I guess. From the visuals you can see there is no right or wrong, just heavy wood, stick in all directions. Put the rocks at the base. They're going to be covered by plants anyway, so you don't have to follow any crazy guidelines or anything. That's not an iwagumi. So next up, we secured all the driftwood and rocks with the super glue paper towel technique. If you're unfamiliar with this, where have you been the whole time? Seriously. So you take a little piece of paper towel, you can take toilet paper, you know, stuff like that, or cotton pads, but seriously, cheap toilet paper works just the best. Take a little piece of it, create, you know, like a little ball with tweezers, insert it in between your materials, either 2 pieces of wood, 2 pieces of rock, wood and rock, whatever you want to glue together. Stuff it there, drizzle some super glue on top. I'm using here the Arca Plantscaper Super Liquid Super Glue. Loving it. Shout out to Arca for providing me, I don't know, a whole lot of this stuff. Makes stuff stick very well. Be careful with your fingers. Better wear gloves. I'm using those precision nozzles at the bottle. This makes using the glue super easy. There will be links to all the products and including the precision nozzles in the description below, guys. So feel free to check them out. There are going to be affiliate links to Amazon. No cost, no extra cost for you, but helps support the channel, so consider using them. You can see the super glue cures very, very fast. There is a little bit of smoke coming up. This is, you know, like a thermic reaction, hardens in seconds and bonds things together super fast. Like a secondary layer, because I know wood can, when it loads water, it can expand, and then some of the super glue connections, they can crack. So we use the Arca poly glue, double purpose. First things first, kind of, you know, to have a secondary protection layer, sort of if the super glue cracks, so the wood doesn't float up. There is the poly glue that's gonna hold it in place because it's elastic, it can expand and shrink. But also to kind of camouflage and cover up all the white paper spots. Super easy. Hardscape was in place, everything was glued, no wiggle, perfect. We moved on to planting the whole thing. I got some beautiful plants from Tropica, not sponsored, but always quality plants. So shout out to the guys in Denmark for, you know, just growing maybe the best plants possible in the hobby. In terms of planting, we kept it very simple. Basically, Echinodorus in the back, different species, Bleherae, Ocelot, Rosé, then Hygrophila Siamensis 53B left and right in the corners to just help, like a helping plant in the beginning to take all the excess nutrients. And later on, I think I'm gonna swap it out for something more shallow, more simple, slow growing. As a transition, we have crypts and Helanthium tenellum green. You will notice the crypts, the leaves have been trimmed off. This is a technique I like a lot because crypts are very likely to melt because they're grown above water, and when they transition to underwater, they don't like it, and all the old leaves, the immersed leaves, they're melting and it's a lot of mass. If you cut it off, no mass inside the aquarium, they just bounce back in a nutrient-rich substrate very, very quickly. Within 2 weeks, you're gonna have tiny, tiny leaves coming out very fast, and then after 2 months, you can see they bounce back nicely. So if crypts get too big, just chop them all off and they're going to grow back and look beautiful and compact again. In between here and there, you see Hygrophila lancea Araguaia, as well as a new plant. I keep forgetting the name, Hygrophila serpyllum. Right now it looks a little bit like Lobelia cardinalis mini. Under ideal conditions, it's going to grow like a carpeting plant and look like a large glossostigma. So I think here something is missing. Either the light is not intense genug. Genug is German. So either the light is not intense enough, or maybe I run out of CO2. I don't know how long the CO2 was empty. I haven't seen the tank in the past 2 months. So probably, yeah, some nutrients were missing. So it's not ideal right now. Let's see if we can fix it. This kind of wraps up the planting. We have a pressurized CO2 system from Arca. You know, it's called the MyAqua CO2 system, which is chemical using baking soda and citric acid. I just refilled the bottle, super easy, it takes 5 minutes to refill it, and you can do it at home. You don't have to go somewhere and refill your pressurized bottle. It works like magic, you know. A very nice stainless steel diffuser from Arca as well, creating fine mist bubbles and providing good CO2 to the plants. Also very affordable. Baking soda, citric acid, super cheap. So we have a Skylight Hyperspot FL, the large version of the Skylight. I would say by far my favorite LED light. It's very simple, sleek design, and it's absolutely glare free. It has a mirror finish at the bottom, and I can literally look from bottom up into the mirror and then top down onto the surface of the aquarium without getting blind, because it has just a few spots and they're like focused, you know, with those lenses and reflectors, and all the light goes down and not into the room. Loving it. To kickstart the aquarium, I use some Arca Bacter shots, and now prior adding the fish, because it's been running for quite some time, I added therapy because it has some good stuff, prebiotics for the fish as well. So guys, this kind of wraps up the video. I hope you enjoyed watching it. Do me a favor, smash the like button, drop a comment below, just say something for the algorithm, helps out a lot. Stay safe, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Bye. I think I'm going to take it back home and, I don't know, frame it or something.